So what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the JevMan316 Pop Culture Reporter channel. I'm your host, as always, JevMan316. It's time for my review / opinion on Evil Dead Rise. Will it get an on fire rating from me, or will it deserve to rot in the ground with the maggots, as Mommy said in the trailer? Let's get into my review. What are we waiting for? Let's go.
Mom? Mommy's with the maggots now.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise. It's written and directed by Lee Cronin, and it stars Anna Marie Thomas and Lily Sullivan, and those are your main characters, are two sisters. I will say this, Lily Sullivan, she's worth the price of admission, if nothing else. Her performance as the mother that gets turned into the Deadite is the best. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's the best version of a Deadite that I've seen in any of these movies. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, I really loved the 2013 requel or reboot of the Evil Dead movie. I really think that Jane Levy did an outstanding job of that. One of the things that I liked about that one was it was a realistic story as far as people coming together to support their friend and or family member in a time of need, trying to get over their drug addiction. In this one, they tried to make you sympathetic for the main character, but I'm going to just let you know, I did not feel that human connection to the main character or her sister that much. The one character that I did feel for and was kind of connected was the younger daughter, but we'll get into more of that later. But the movie, I will say, is just like the 2013. It opens with one of the most epic scenes I've seen in horror movies in a long time. You've probably seen it in the trailer where the person comes out of the lake. That's at the end of the opening. I will say that having that is the opening, and then have it to where you go back in time a little bit before that, you kind of felt like you knew what was going to happen towards the end. And I'm not going to spoil it. This will be a non-spoiler review, but I just want to let you know this movie is really good. It's high up there. I'm going to probably do a ranking because every time I think about it, it moves around on my list, but it's really high up there. But I don't think it's going to rank as high as the 2013, and I'll let you know why. Some of the effects in this one are really good, especially relate to the mother who turns into the Deadite, like I said, but it's too few and far between. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that first, because in the 2013 version, I can just immediately start thinking of moments, maybe feel really uncomfortable. I'm not going to say I ever get scared watching a movie, but just going back and thinking through it, as far as you had the girl who was sawing her face open with a piece of a mirror. You had the main character getting, scorched in the shower from the hot water. You had the guy getting stabbed in the face repeatedly with a needle and pulling it out of his eye. That was terrible. You had the girl that was sawing her own arm off with an electric knife. Man, that made you like turn your head a couple times, especially in the unrated version. You need to see that it goes a little bit longer. You had the main character, Mia, trapped under a car, pulling her own damn arm off. You had the epic chainsaw to the face. So I can go on and on. That movie had all those moments. I only remember a couple of the moments. They didn't linger on the screen. They weren't as powerful. They were good, and it had some good effects in it, but like I said, it was too few and far between. Everybody's talking about how realistic the story is, and I will say the one thing they did with me, they let me down a little bit about having this thing in a high-rise apartment. You have the opportunity to have in a high-rise apartment, all those different things, like they were talking about Scream happening in New York, and then it basically became Jason Takes Manhattan. If you're indoors, you can't see the epic outside. So in this one, what happens in the movie traps them in the apartment building, and it's a small apartment, so you don't get a lot of rooms, and then they can't do anything to maneuver around very much. But what I will say is they did utilize one aspect. I loved the scenes that were taking place in the hallway that were seen from the perspective of looking through the peephole of the door, especially the daughter, the small girl, and is looking out at her mother. Some of those were some of the best scenes, and the way they were filmed of looking for that perspective was original, creative. I loved it. So as far as the rest of it, it's basically rent, cycle, repeat. It's something happens, You find the book. You open the book when you shouldn't. You, for some reason, and it's a little too convenient in this one to me, you're able to recite or have somebody else recite the words from the Book of the Dead. You get the spirit released, the demons or whatever they possess, somebody that's close to you, and you basically fight them for the rest of the movie. It's basically the same story that happened in all the rest of them. Very creepy moments, but not what I would say I'm going to turn my eyes away. Really good effects. I was a little bit let down thinking that it was going to be more over the top like the 2013 version. I didn't see any of that. Everybody's talking about the cheese grater scene. When that happened, I was like, is that fucking it? That's all we get? So to wrap it up, I'll also talk about the ending. Knowing what happened at the beginning and knowing that this main part of the story that you're watching with the family takes place a little bit in the past, you kind of knew what was going to happen towards the end and how it was going to probably wrap around to the beginning. And without spoiling, and it's hard to describe, but I'm just going to say it's very anticlimactic. And this movie has no after credit scenes. So I was thinking that they should have done something to hook you with the survivors of this movie and make you care more about them. So I came out of this one more of this is a one-off. If anything happens with these characters in the future, so be it. I really wanted to see what was the next chapter in the Mia story. Obviously, this one is another Book of the Dead. They don't wipe away what happened in the other movies. They make it out like this is the third book, so it could be in the same universe. So I like that. But with all that being said, great movie, a really good, enthusiastic thumbs up, but not the best of the series. I'll do a ranking video if you guys want it. Put it in the comments down below so you hear my opinion of what the series would rank as far as from worst to best or best to worst, however you want to think about it. But in the comments down below, let me know what you think of Evil Dead Rise. Did you like it? Did you think it was as good as the other ones? Do you think it's the best one? Let me know, and then subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, do all that normal YouTube stuff. And if you are a subscriber, don't forget to hit the notification bell, because I'm going to start doing more reviews and more of everything pop culture related on this channel, and you need to know when I post new videos. So until next time, boys and girls, this has been JeffMan316. I'm your pop culture reporter, and I'm signing out saying you guys be safe out there.
Groovy.